Ready to embark on a journey of limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious Show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Every conversation is a journey, a chance to explore, learn, and embrace the magic that life has to offer. Connect with the Being Curious Show on all major podcast platforms at the Edge Network, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Being Curious Show. Hey everybody, Kelly Wagner, publisher, Edge Magazine, host of the Being Curious Show. Welcome back to another amazing show. God, I love the people I get to interview, because we're back with another one that I'm just extremely excited about. This is our cover story for June, July 2026, and you guys are going to get a sneak peek. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, the quote from this goddess is, "We are gods with amnesia." I mean, who flippin' starts a show? Who starts a quote with "We are gods with amnesia"? And I promise you, at the end of the show, you're going to know why. Today's guest is Antonia Harman, and she is an award-winning energy healer, author. Oh my God, you guys, look at this book. Look at this book. Just get it, right? And wizard. She has a school. She has these beautiful practices. We're going to be talking about the grand theory of dis-ease. We're going to talk about a client that she worked on yesterday that's life-changing, and just so much more. This is going to be a fantastic show. I can give you her bio, but she's magical. Just trust me when I say she's magical. And you're going to just get a cup of tea, coffee, water, whatever you want to drink, and join us for an amazing show. And without further ado, Miss Antonia Harman. Hello, my lady.
Thank you. What an introduction. Thank you for having me. That was beautiful.
I was going to get all formal, and I have your bio, and I'm just like, she's a goddess. Let's do this. And she's doing the work. And right, like I've never met a lady and a person and a soul that has such a bandwidth of joy. Just absolutely. And I know it's because you are the proof in the pudding. You are the work. You are doing it, and you're living it, and you're embodying it, and you're sharing it with others. And here we go. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and how you got to today.
Gosh. Well, I never expected to become a wizard, which I know is a bit of a strange title. I'm a wizard and an exorcist. So I need to tell you the difference in witches and wizards. We'll get to that. But how did I start? I was a TV host. I was working on game shows, and that was all fun. And it gave me some foundation in TV, which actually now everyone's a TV host because everyone's got their YouTube channels and their Instagram. So I've got a bit of a formal education and work in that. So that makes it easier when I'm on camera, because I'm quite used to being on camera from my old job back in the day, live TV presenting. And then a friend of mine had a problem with her ears. Now she went to the doctor, specialist, and surgeon because she kept on bursting her eardrum. She burst it 5 times and was often grounded, not allowed to fly for Virgin Atlantic, because her ear pain was so severe that she felt like she was being either stabbed in the head or childbirth through her ear, both quotes from her. So and if you have problems with your ears, you're not allowed to fly because it can be quite dangerous. You may have to land the plane. So she was getting stranded in places like New York City, and I don't know, getting stranded all over the world, and it was excruciating pain. So as I said, she went to the doctor, the specialist, and the surgeon, and they didn't really know what they were going to do, but they were offering exploratory surgery. They were going to do their best, didn't really know exactly what it was. And because there wasn't a high chance of success, only a 50% chance of success, they were going to be charging her £4,500, which is about $6,000. But that was 20 years ago. So I think more like $10,000, which is someone who's in their mid-20s is a lot of money. But what do you do? Because it was such bad pain. So she was just saving up, getting the money together because it was so bad. It was just making her fall to her knees. And she's a very stoic person.
Right.
So I was walking through Notting Hill in London, and she falls to her knees and starts screaming, help me, please help me. Fix my ear, fix my ear. Now, I've done a 5-day healing course, and I thought it was a load of nonsense. And who are these odd ducks?
Right.
And I was very unconvinced by it. And so she was screaming, saying, help me, you're a healer now. Healer now. I've done a 5-day workshop. I'm not even sure any of this is real. Just, you're a healer now. Just try, swearing, snotting. It was all very dramatic. And I took her to the loos of a restaurant, and I put my hands on her ears, and I started channeling energy. And to my utter surprise and disbelief, something started coming out of her ear as I was channeling. And I was feeding it out like a rope. It was about 1.5 feet long, and it was about that wide. And it looked like a snake in heat waves. I pulled it out like a snake, and it fell on the ground. It was writhing on the ground. And then she said, do the other side. And a smaller, narrower one came out. That was in 2007.
And you're in a restaurant in Notting Hill doing this.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. And so that was in 2007. She's never had earache since. Any problems with her ear since, and she had it for her entire life. So it was an energetic parasite, I figured out later, but that was a miracle. And it changed the trajectory of my life. Weirdly, at the same time, or divinely planned at the same time, there were issues because there were game shows that people were ringing into to enter into, and they weren't their entries weren't counted. Not on the show that I was working on, but on a primetime show. And so loads of people got very, very angry about it. So the whole industry sort of collapsed at exactly the same time that this miracle happened. And I just thought, this is more interesting. This is more special. This is more amazing than anything else that I'm doing. And I just devoted the last 20 years to working on this stuff. And I have been a part of a lot of miracles. I specialize in miracles.
You do?
I do, really. I do.
What's the definition of a miracle again? Because I think it's really special.
Should I pull it up? I can look it up.
Absolutely.
Let me ask ChatGPT.
It's like something that's unexplained. Damn it! If I would have had it prepped for the show, that would have been lovely. But the definition of a miracle is.
I've done it now. I've got it here. A miracle is an event that appears extraordinary or impossible according to nature laws. It's often believed to be caused by divine or supernatural powers. Religious, a miracle can be seen as an act of God or a higher power. For example, healing the sick in a way that science can't explain. That's a bit of me.
I'm like, poster child right there.
Or general use. People sometimes use miracle loosely to describe something very surprising, or like a miracle recovery or miracle win. So at its core, miracle is something beyond normal explanation that inspires awe or wonder. I specialize in miracles. I really do.
You do. You do on every level. Okay, so that's 2007. You're a game show host. You're in the bathroom with your friend. And I do believe that it had to be something so, what I get, and you and I have fun playing together, is you basically had to be like shoved into the situation to say like, okay, go. It wasn't like you could put your training wheels on and then you can go to another class. It was like real world, do it now.
Yeah, and I'm not a wounded healer. Like, I'm very unusual in that. I had a really nice childhood. I didn't have any of those problems. And I have spent the last 20 years bringing in this magic. And that has been where I've suffered. And I think that most healers suffer in some way. So I have been in trance states and sort of incapacitated for days, weeks, months at a time, not able to really leave my bed, in extraordinary pain in my body, like heavy delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS. And then completely doolally, like I've taken a heavy dose of some psychedelics or other drugs or something, but like not being able to think clearly and being completely off my noodle and not being able to function. And there were years when I couldn't barely feed myself. So I would roll out of bed. I'd have to roll out of bed and I'd have to crawl and then shimmy down the stairs on my butt, crawl into the kitchen and then put the kettle on and collapse on the ground again. Like it was a struggle to get out of bed. It was a struggle to feed myself for a long, long time. The pain and the lack, and I was very athletic at the time as well. I couldn't do very much. So I've had a lot of that. But then again, people could easily say that I had chronic fatigue or some tiredness-based illness. If there was an event that I needed to go to, like it's my mum's birthday or something that I need to really, really have to do, but like very important, then I would wake up and be absolutely normal. So that's something which people with those tiredness-based illnesses are not afforded. That's a luxury they're not afforded. So mine was literally to bring this work through, and a lot of psychic attack, I think, as well. But yeah, and even the week before last, I was completely July, and I'm like just spaced out, and I can't do very much, and I can't go to the gym, and I can't do a lot of things. So I'm still bringing through energies because I'm on the path for instant healing of all diseases. That's the trajectory I'm going towards, and I can do it like instant healing of quite a lot of things, or near instant healing within an hour or something of a lot of different illnesses at this point. But I want instant healing of all diseases. So I decided to really go down the toughest road and pull this stuff in. And I've got a school, and we perform miracles daily. We really do.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so for somebody completely new to energy healing, what exactly is energy healing, and why do you believe so many people are actually curious about it and being drawn to it now?
I'm really glad that people are getting curious about it, because I sound like an absolute lunatic 20 years ago when this started.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so now I'm really glad that, when I started, yoga wasn't mainstream. Yoga was still fringe. And Reiki was, the weirdo. So, I'm really, really happy that those beautiful things are now very, very mainstream, and even by, medical people as prescribing that, as well as meditation. So I do very different energy healing to other people, though. So I've invented a whole new style of healing, which is called divine empowerment. But everything is energy. Everything is made of energy. And I figured out my grand theory of disease. I figured out how energy affects dis-ease or lack of ease in the body. So I have a different way of thinking about energy healing than other people. I can tell you how I see disease, but it's slightly different from the other people. She's pulling something out.
I was about to say, well, you just teed up. Like, this is what's fun when you're interviewing someone desperately intuitive, because my next question is, you have this beautiful theory called the grand theory of disease, and it is on page 198 of energy healing.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you what it is.
And it is the theory of gas, liquid, solid. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, I need to go into that. Okay, so I've come up with this theory, and I'm damn sure it's correct, because there are so many examples of it, and it's what my work is based upon. And I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do if my theory was incorrect. But there's also examples of it in nature and from saints and things. So that's really interesting to talk about too. But I'll just talk about it in terms of healing first, and then we can talk about it in terms of. Just realized my bra hook's undone. Oh, hang on just a second. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. Oh, dearie me. Okay, I'm going to have to multitask here. What is going on? Strange.
Well, if anyone can multitask, it's you. Okay, there you go. And just pause it. Just pop.
Okay, so diseases come in three categories: a gas, a liquid, and a solid. Gas-based diseases are thought-based diseases. So anytime you spend time with somebody who's sad or angry or upset, you can feel it in the air around. They're kind of radiating. You can taste it, you can smell it. It's around them. And also it can affect you really badly. So maybe an anxious person can make you a bit unsettled, a bit nervous in your body. It can make you a bit jittery. Or conversely, the same. A depressed person can make you a bit depressed, and people avoid depressed people because it can really put you in a funk and it may take days to shake. But conversely, a very happy, joyful person can really lift you up and you can be feeling absolutely great around somebody who's got good energy. And that's certainly a big thing. So it's like they're radiating out of them. So that's what emotional-based disease is, thought-based disease is. They're just in the field around them. They're like a gas. They're just around you. You kind of smell of it. It's around you in your field. Okay, so I think diseases are all based on thoughts. So we get fixated or stuck on awful things that happen to us, things that people said, things that you've done, things that other people have done. And we lament on them, we fester on them, we keep thinking about them. So because they're like a gas and they're zooming around you when you're thinking about various different situations, sometimes you think about it so much that gas, there's so much of it. And then it slows down and it cools down. How does steam become water? There's so much of it and it just settles in a particular place. It's because you are stuck and fixating about something or other. So where it ends up in the body is wholly dependent on what you're thinking about. Backache, for example, is about not feeling supported. So all of your thoughts about not feeling supported accumulate in your spine, because your spine is your support for your body. If you didn't have your spine, you'd be a pool of jelly. We need that, and it just supports us through our body. And lower backache is about worried about finances and responsibilities towards money and burdens. So every different quality of your thought responds to a different part of your body. Chinese medicine talks about it, and the organs which are responsible for different emotions: kidneys, fear, anger, liver, various different things. So it's known about for millennia, but we get stuck thinking about things. So backache is about not feeling supported, and all the feelings of that. So that's like a fluid. So what happens with backache as well? Sometimes your pain is a 2 out of 10. Sometimes it's a 10 out of 10. And normally it's when you're having a bad day and you're feeling very unsupported that actually it gets worse. But its location also changes. Sometimes it's an inch to the left or an inch to the right. It actually moves around your body. It ebbs and flows like a fluid. So that's what happens with that. And then you've got another ball of fluid is a cyst. So if you get stuck thinking about various different things, it might just form a cyst because all of those thoughts, all of that gas compresses to form a fluid. And then you've got something like a tumor, a benign or a non-cancerous tumor is said to be capsulated, medical term for a shell around the outside, a capsule around the outside. So it's got this like shell, which is holding it all in. But what it is all of those thoughts are compressed. The liquid becomes more and more compressed and becomes a solid as the molecules stop moving around on the spot and start tightening up to become a solid. When it becomes malignant or cancerous, what happens is the capsule ruptures and it starts to spread. And then you say that cancer has spread and it starts to spread around the body. And when it's metastasized, that liquid has spread throughout the body. So that's what diseases are. It's compressed thoughts. So how I remove diseases from people is deleting and neutralizing the compressed thoughts, and then the disease, which is actually made of that, dissipates.
Okay, so you went and bought a ultrasound machine because you worked on a tumor and dissolved it. Tell us a little bit more about that amazing scenario. Yeah, there it is. Hello.
My shopping channel days.
Oh, there you go. The hand modeling.
That as well. Yes, this is an ultrasound machine. So basically, I worked on myself. So a few years ago, I had an ovarian cyst. And my ovarian cyst was because I was in an abusive relationship and I was very resentful, and I probably should have left sooner than I did, and I didn't. So, but I was festering on it and I was thinking about, how dare you do this? He was a narcissist who would have tantrums all the time, and it was very intense, and I was getting more and more grumpy about the whole thing. And I was in a lot of pain, and I ended up going to the doctor and finding out that I had an ovarian cyst because I didn't know what it was for a long time. And then I looked it up, what it was, and it was about sort of resentful in the relationship. So I deleted those emotions, and after 3 days, I felt it sort of dissipating, and then it like popped like a bubble, not ruptured, which would have been very, very painful when cyst rupture, it popped like a bubble. And I was thinking, that's interesting. And I've got the before and the after scan as well of that from, gosh, about 7-8 years ago. And then I worked on a friend of mine who had a spring. She's also, you can find her on my YouTube as well. And she had a tumor, a benign tumor. And I worked on her and she was in excruciating pain. She wasn't able to do her yoga or her cycling. She was just, it was really bad for her. So I worked on her and then she was in bed in pain, doubled up, and I worked on her, and after and under 3 minutes it looked like it went, because she couldn't feel it. She was pressing her abdomen and she couldn't feel it anymore, and the pain completely dissipated. So after this happened and she didn't manage to get the scan that we were looking for, I thought, I'm going to buy an ultrasound machine. How much are they? Let's see if I can buy an ultrasound machine. So I ordered one from China. And I was then looking for people with benign tumors. Now, it should be noted, I haven't managed to help anybody with the big C. I'm not at that stage yet. I'm working on people with benign, non-cancerous tumors. I'm not at that stage yet. I'm working towards it, but I'm not there yet, just for people to know. Right. So anyway, I managed to find someone with benign tumors, and we worked on the emotions and deleted the associated emotions, which is largely grief for cancer. And within 2 minutes, the tumor dissipated. We've got 2 videos of it, 2 different tumors that I removed in this lady. And that's on my YouTube as well. You can see it just completely dematerialize. I based it on the Greg Braden video when they had, I think from the 80s, there was a place in Beijing, medicineless hospital in Beijing. And they managed to work on someone with bladder cancer, and 3 practitioners managed to make it dematerialize in 3 minutes. So it was kind of based on that. That was what I was working towards for many years. It's and I've got it with more modern footage, so that is findable too. So I managed to do that one.
I just love how you're just like, and then I just did this, and then I just did this. I mean, it's so powerful, like, right?
I just tried different things, but I'll tell you about the grand theory of disease a bit more in nature. So if you go to, I think people drop the word enlightened or enlightenment very early, and my grade to be enlightened is extremely high. Mastery of solid liquid gas is my grade level, and mastery is very, very I'm not a master of it yet. So if you were a master of it, you would be able to materialize and dematerialize anything at will, because you'd be able to think it into existence. So you have some of the if you go to Langli Sho, which is in Tibet, Yangli Sho. I had a Tibetan person teach me how to pronounce that for my audiobook. Yangli Sho. It's in Tibet. So basically the father of Tibetan Buddhism was there, and he's got handprints on the stone there because he managed to melt the stone, because it's the solid liquid gas thing. You would be able to melt stone to be able to put your handprints in there. And the Hollywood Walk of Fame is a big FU to enlightenment, because obviously using concrete, and it's a worshiping false idols thing by having their hands in the concrete, because it means it's an enlightened skill. You have to be enlightened. And then we've obviously got this one, the sword in the stone, King Arthur.
You were just showing me the sword in the stone. I was just about to ask you about the sword in the stone, and then you grabbed that.
Yeah, I live very near Camelot. I live very near where he was supposed to be. And interestingly, there's a sword in a stone in France, in a monastery in France. There's still one in a stone in a monastery in France. There is a physical one there. So what happened was, as I see it, I always try to decipher what the hell happened. So How do you put a sword in a stone? A sword in a stone, what I would say, you would have to make this sword into a more liquid form, like a gel. So you'd have to make it more liquid, and then you'd be able to keep this hard, make that a gel, and then stick that into there. So what it said was, okay, we used to have, obviously I'm English, the most wise person was the person who would be the royalty. It was always the leader, was always the most wise person. So it was selected according to their wisdom. It seems to be somewhat the other way in world leaders these days. It seems not to be the most wise person. However, to be the most wise, you may be enlightened, because being wise and being enlightened really go hand in hand. So to prove that you were the most wise or an enlightened person, you had to remove the sword from the stone. So what the inscription said, whosoever pulleth the sword becomes the rightful king of England, because it was the enlightened person. So I think Merlin stuck it in as a test. So you would have to be able to remove it, because the molecules would interlock with each other. So then you'd have to be enlightened to be able to remove the sword from the stone. And that was the test for people being enlightened. So it's mastery of solid, liquid, gas, but Jesus did it too. Okay. Walking on water. How does one walk on water? Think it through. What is solid water? Kelly? Ice. Mastery of solid, liquid, gas. You would be able to turn water into ice, and you'd be able to walk on a bridge that you made. So that's how you walk on water. Mastery of solid, liquid, gas. It means you're enlightened, and you would be able to go boom, apple, gold bar, whatever. So that's what it's mastery of that. And it's shown throughout nature. They've also managed, it's all in the book as well in the last chapter. I managed to put this stuff in the last chapter, thankfully. Like, that was the hill I was prepared to die on. But they managed to do it. It happens in tornadoes. So interestingly, tornadoes, there are pictures of a chair with metal legs, and obviously in a tornado, if this is a brick wall and this is the chair, it should just ricochet away. You would expect it to do so, but there are some of them, and the chair legs, because the spin energy is so fast, it becomes embedded in it. And then, so it just, that because of the spin, basically a high velocity spin will make something be able to embed it in itself if it's got the right conditions. And then they also repeated melting stone and melting metal in Princeton in the 80s. So there is a history of it, but you have to use high-powered magnets and hyperfreeze things to be able to do it in that study. So it's really interesting. So yeah, mastery of solid, liquid, gas means you'll be able to materialize and dematerialize anything at will. So I'm able to do some stuff by working on the emotions is how I managed to clear diseases.
How did you research all of this? I mean, you just pulled from all of these different aspects of history and nature and lore, and what guided you to research this?
I'm a massive geek. Who doesn't look like a geek?
Okay.
I research. I listen to podcasts constantly. I'm always researching loads of UFO stuff. I read constantly. I listen to audiobooks. I don't really physically read. I research things, and I spend a lot of time by myself thinking about it. Also, this path has meant I've had to be alone. I haven't been able to have relationships, because when I'm with people, then I'm lucid, and I need not to be lucid to be able to pull these energies in. So I've just spent a lot of time sort of contemplating things and working things out and going, how does that work? And then just really just diving down rabbit holes and researching things, and like listening to tidbits from various different places. And yeah. And then the other one as well was the ECR, where I managed to get my friend's necrotic finger to come back. That was an interesting one.
Okay, tell us that story. I mean, you can't drop that and then just be like, hey, we're done.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a fight with a blender. She stuck a finger in a blender and went to the doctor, the specialist, she had a fight with the blender, and she had 6 stitches in one finger because she mangled her finger. And after 6 weeks, it went necrotic. Necrotic is cell death. So it happens when you have leprosy, gangrene, frostbite, and there is no way back from it. It goes black, it starts rotting, you are stuffed. So what they would do in the good old days, so it doesn't spread because it's really spready, they would just lob it off. But what they were going to do, was do a skin graft. So take some skin off her butt and sew it on, and try to repair her finger. Anyway, I just been looking into 2 scientists, Dr. Warburg and Dr. Becker. Dr. Warburg got a Nobel Prize for looking at the cellular voltage, the voltage of cells. This was in the 60s, I think, or early 70s. He was looking at the voltage of cells and worked out if you were in very good health, you were 70 to 90 millivolts. If you were okay health, you were 30 to 50 millivolts. If you were in very bad health, you were 20 millivolts. It was how they were looking at various different things. So I looked into her finger and I tuned into it psychically, and it was around 20 millivolts, which was sort of, that's where cancer is, that's where necrotic is. That was not good. And then there was also Dr. Becker. So Dr. Becker was looking at Dr. Warburg's work, and he was looking at cellular voltage, and he was thinking, what do I do? He's an orthopedic surgeon who ended up working at a veterinary college to try and look at various different things, and was sort of given a bit of free rein. And he thought, I'm going to see if I can figure out how salamanders regenerate. Now, salamanders, you may know how they can regenerate a leg, an arm, or a leg and arm, the same thing, a tail, or half an eyeball. Like, how the dickens do they do that? So what they figured out, but they lopped it off. They lopped off a leg, they lopped off a tail, and they looked at the electrical current where the limb had formerly been. And they noticed there was a surge of energy followed by a pulsing, and thought, interesting. If we lob off a similar limb of a frog and who don't regenerate, and repeat the electrical surge followed by the pulsing, will the frog's leg grow back? It did in the 70s. So annoyed for veterans and people who've lost limbs, like so annoyed that they knew that in the 70s and they didn't use that. But it's about raising the voltage, a surge of energy followed by a pulsing. So I just watched some bloody TikToks on this. So I had a rudimentary knowledge about it.
Of course you went to TikTok for it.
Hilarious. It might be an Instagram, one of the two. It was like I watched a little bit of video, and then I've got my friend going, yeah, they said that I've got a necrotic finger. And I was doing a podcast with her. I said, I wonder if I can raise the voltage of your finger up to around 120 and see if we can regenerate your finger. So a week later, she went to the doctor. It was no longer necrotic. And that doesn't happen. That's an impossibility. That's another miracle. Does not happen. And then basically it started to regenerate. And then after about 6 months, the feeling came back because the nerves had been all severed and mangled. And then it just, and then first of all, the flesh started padding back out again because it was missing flesh. Then the nerves came back, and then she's just got a minor scar. Her finger's fine.
I sliced my finger 6 months ago, and I'm just starting to get the nerve. I mean, it healed beautifully, but you wouldn't think about how much you use your middle finger until you do something.
Man.
Like, right? Well,
I also used it as well to reverse age, and my aging has slowed down quite significantly. So I'm 45, so I'm doing all right.
Well, and on your website and your YouTube, you do show pictures of you, and I'm like, it looks like you've had a facelift. I mean, straight up, and you're just right. Yep, look at that. I mean,
compared to now as well. I mean, that's quite a long time ago still. Oh shoot.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at you.
Yeah, I look younger now again.
You look younger now than you did in 2022. You're like, hello.
Yeah.
So I want to
ask skinnier, and you'd think that when you're skinnier, they normally tend to look older when you're a bit skinnier as well, because normally the fat sort of pads out your wrinkles.
Oh no, like I bet there would be some top plastic surgeons that would say you've had work done. And no, you're just you.
No, not even Botox, look.
Yeah, you have emotion. Like, right?
I haven't had any fillers or anything. I had one syringe of lip filler in my 20s, but I've not touched my face beyond that.
Good for you. And we're talking about all of these other things, and you're like, and by the way, I can do this as well. Like, right?
I can do loads of cool stuff.
Now, you have an invitation with the Edge magazine as a cover story for June, July you're offering your level 1 divine empowerment. Here's my notes. You guys look at this from 2023. You're offering people to take this class. Let's talk about your beautiful offer for the Edge magazine people and the people watching this show.
The world needs more wizards, and I invite you to take level 1 absolutely free. I want people to learn that magic is real and bring magic back into the world. That is my mission. And also, I have this lofty Miss World thing where I think that we could get to world peace, because hurt people hurt people. And in level 1, you learn how to instantly dissolve the emotions behind traumas. So the reason you don't remember what you had for lunch 2 Tuesdays ago is because nothing significant happened. Had you fallen in love or been in a traffic accident that day, you would remember everything from that day, because emotion anchors memory. So what I can do, emotion is simply energy in motion. And in level 1, you get the big eraser, and you just think about a situation and you can dissolve the energy anchoring that memory in place for solo traumas, one trauma at a time. You learn how to do it. The big eraser just gets evolved through all my levels. But yeah, you learn how to dissolve the emotional resonance of it. So you can think about a memory and just delete the emotions around it. Then the memory just becomes empty or benign. You think about it and you feel at peace with it. You're just like, okay, it's like it's happened to someone else. Or it's you saw it in a movie or something. You have no attachment. The Buddhists call it non-attachment. There's no attachment to really traumatic, painful things. And that's right from level 1. But there's over 40 different energies in level 1, all for free.
Right. And I, the previous time we were together on the show, you worked on it live on the show, one of my memories that I had. And it was a doozy. It was a doozy. And I have to say, I go back to it even today and I'm like, it was like, it just happened. It was like lunch last week. It's not defining. It doesn't trigger me. It's just, it happened. And it's really just and this something before you worked on it was something that you would just get me crying and like would rock me to the core. And now it's just a memory. It's not, it is what it is. I mean, I tell the story and I watch people's face just look at me and I don't carry the emotion with it. It just happened.
Yeah.
And that is so beautiful. I mean, what a flippin' gift.
It's liberation.
Yeah, it is. I love that you said hurt people because it's so true. And we yeah, that's a whole podcast right there.
And the thing is as well, I've got to the stage where even when people are dicks to me, I'm like, that's your demons. That's okay. It's like, I don't really get affected by very much, because I just, it's the demons are talking through them quite literally. And, I just think people are very traumatized, and I can help people not be traumatized. And then their mind chatter goes, and their anxiety goes, and their depression goes. Let's talk about the person I worked on yesterday, because that was a pretty fun one.
Yeah, so I was just go into that, like, because that's you got to work on someone that I don't want to say was a hater, but
she was a bit of a hater of mine. She was a bit of a hater. Let's go with that.
Okay, so let's go a real world experience.
Let's be real. Yeah, she knows she was.
She was.
And yeah, she was. And now she's I mean, she's like shook, as the younglings say. Yeah.
Like you said that I like at the beginning of this interview, but then even in our discussions, is that, when you walk into a room and everyone's depressed, you feel it. Well, it's also the opposite. When you are kind of in that state and you meet someone like you where you're like, hi, and you have such joy and such extreme joy, if you're not at that frequency, you're kind of like, who the flip is this chick? And
who the hell does she think she is?
Yeah, right?
Being happy, what a bitch.
Well, whether it's the frequency is felt, whether it's like this. And I can say that she met you and you were like this and she was just like that. So please tell us about your client from yesterday.
Yeah, it was super fun. So she unfortunately has endometriosis, but it was spreading. And so then it was getting into nerve pain, sort of all around her sort of womb, stomach area. It was just getting worse and worse. And they were going to be doing, what's the surgery where they're looking into it. So what is it called?
Hysterectomy.
No. Where they, I said it earlier, they look and they see if they can figure stuff out. Research surgery. It's not called that, but it's basically they were going to open her up and have a little look and see if they could tinker about and see if they could fix it. forgotten what it is, but they were just going to open it up and see if they could fix it.
And just zoom around and go, okay, what's
yeah,
going on?
they weren't sure if they could fix it. She also had polycystic ovary syndrome, anxiety, depression. I think that was everything. Yeah. And basically she's been on antidepressants. She's been on pain meds, like severe pain meds, taking them a couple of times a day. And it's, you know, the pain meds don't really work that well. They work for a bit and then they numb it a little bit, but it's still there. She has been in pain every single day, even with the pain meds, at least a 5 out of 10 for 20 years. It started when she was 14 years old, and it went on until she's 34. And she had loads of trauma as a kid. She had a difficult upbringing in a lot of different ways. And so there's loads of trauma, and there's been loads of, you know, sexual assault, and should talk about it. Fine. So I have her permission to be talking about this. We are going to be doing a podcast about it. So please don't anyone go, you shouldn't be talking about this. I have her approval. I wouldn't do it otherwise. Yes. So so we worked on it. So what I did in the session that we did, the one-to-one we did, was I did a generalized healing about anything that's ever happened to you. I can strip the emotion from memory. So I don't need to know people's stories. They just think about them, and I just suck out, like I hoover it out, all of their traumas. And then I've got a textbook that tells me the emotional reason behind disease. I sent her the pages of the textbook. She said, oh my goodness, I feel like the book is victimizing me. You just feel so triggered by it. Like, it's really uncomfortable because it's just all about the stuff that's happened to you. So then we, you know, neutralize that. We have to make it so that the words no longer feel like they're personally attacking you, so that they feel like they happen to somebody else, or there's no resonance to it, non-attached, back to the Buddhism. So we clear all of that, and then we worked on maybe there wasn't that much left, but we did worries and fears as well, and I sealed her up. But by the end of it, like an hour and a half session, every single one of her symptoms was gone. Her endometriosis, her nerve pain, her depression, her anxiety. And I think we have to check it. We have to have a scan to see if the polycystic ovaries. I assume that they've gone as well, but we haven't had that medically checked. But having done that a number of times in the past, it's the same process. So I would be surprised if that went and that didn't go. It wouldn't make any sense, but that hasn't been 100% confirmed. She's going to go and have a scan and find out. But she ended up completely knocked out and having to sleep for a couple of hours, and a huge night's sleep yesterday. And then she's woken up today and she's like, what the hell have you done? I am pain-free. My mind is completely quiet. My mood is a 10 out of 10, and she's depressed. She's on antidepressants. She's been depressed a really long time. She's a very chatty mind. She's quite animated, and she gets quite upset and like strongly worded on things. I called her bullshit, and she accepts that. She's quite like, she's very sort of a cause and like standing up for everyone, because she's got a lot of mind chatter in her head, which makes her a good person, but sometimes she's picking the wrong battles. And all of that's gone, and she is so at peace today, and it's unnerving. Her level of peace is unnerving to her, because she's like, where's my pain gone, and why don't I have all these self-deprecating thoughts and anxieties and this depression? She's completely blown away today. That was yesterday. Yeah, it's bonkers. It sounds like I'm lying, I know, but these are the results, which is why I need to work on loads of people and get people.
Oh no, you and I wouldn't be talking and keeping the conversations going if it wasn't real. Like, no, it's so. Let's go back to your quote about we are gods with amnesia. If you think about it, like, what you're doing is you're remembering, you're tapping into our amazing gifts and abilities. And if you think about your grand theory of disease, it makes so much sense, and it's simple. I mean, gas, liquid, solid, like that's, it's so basic yet so complicated, if that makes any weird sense. It's just like everything. And is it our programming? Is it the humans trying to do it to the humans? Is it the ETs coming in and trying to play with us?
It's a loose feeding system. No, what it is okay. So then gonna get into something which is even more weirder territory. I think, and maybe some other people do, this is a bit of we're cows and we're being farmed, and basically Emotions are what these multidimensional beings feed on. So it's called loosh. It's our anger, our stress, our frustration, our upset in some way. And they twist the knife and say various different things, which is what the mind chatter is. And they say horrible things to us, and then we get upset about it, and then that's their food stuff. So that's the whole programming from it. And then it's just ending up physical diseases. And actually, if you have got some awful disease, you're probably going to be quite miserable. And that's another way to harvest you quite nicely. That's all it is. But I worked on you, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago? Tell us all about that, Kelly.
Actually, I loved what you just said. I was just like, and if everything's energy, it totally makes sense. Yes, you worked on me. Yes, you worked on me. And it was really fun. So before we go into that, let's tell everyone a little bit about your process, because it is so simple, but not simple. You know what I mean? That's why the miracles just come in. I mean, I think people would think that they have to, you do it remotely, so you can work on clients all over the world. There's your invitation, everyone watching it, all over the world. You don't have to be with Antonia and she hands-on. And actually it would be kind of fun to do a hands-on healing with you. Like just to
you and I just want to go out in the town.
Yeah, you and I just want to go cause trouble, right? But like it would be interesting. It would be interesting. But
I don't do hands-on. I don't touch people. I do everything over Zoom. I don't do, even when I'm with people, I don't touch them.
You don't have to.
There's not about that. I don't think there's anything particularly coming out of my hands as special. Everything is pretty much remote. Even if I'm with people, I sort of sit, next to them and stuff. But I don't use. I just use my hands.
Okay, before we talk about this, I have to ask you, what is a part of your daily routine to be grounded, to stay in that center point? Like, give us a little bit of something like behind the scenes of what you do for your day to do this and to be able to, at a moment, because where I'm going with it is when you and I had my session, you just were like, so you want to have a session? Hold on, let me go get a glass of water. And like 3 minutes later, you were.
I don't have a process. I don't need a process. I am the process.
You are the process. Okay.
I do a lot of these things. Like I can do a lot of work when I'm cooking dinner and stuff like that. I don't even need to be sitting in front of people, or I don't need to. I've been doing it so long. This is 20 years of work. I can literally just be doing anything else. A motor skill, I can easily be cooking dinner or going for a walk and running energies and healing diseases. I don't need to be really focused on it. The thing is, I'm a lineage holder, and it's a feminine lineage. There is none of this BS process from the male lineages, but just step, ruddy step. And it's just a non-stop protocol that I can't remember. I can't remember them. I don't have the attention span. I don't care. I just intend to do something, having awoken my latent superpowers, and then I can just do it by setting the intention to do it. So gods with amnesia. Let me talk about that a bit more.
Yeah.
I think that I think probably what happened to us is I believe the Anunnaki theory, but who's the one who did the Anunnaki stuff? Who was reading the Sumerian tablets? Forgotten his name. I believe the idea that basically the Anunnaki came here to harvest gold, and they wanted a lower race, Zachariah Sitchin. They wanted a lower race to harvest the gold, and so they made us in God's image to do that. What I think they actually did, so people think that maybe they made us a hybrid from like a monkey or something like that. I don't think they did. I think what they did is put loads of malware in our system to make us weak, small, and stupid without magic. I think there's literally malware in our system. I think we are them, but with things switched off in us. So if you think about it, the Anunnaki was said to be at least 10 to 12 foot tall. That was the sort of smaller ones. So that's a toddler size. A toddler is 2 to 3 foot tall. So if you're 12 foot tall and you're basically us compared to a toddler, you can just go there, Sonny Jim. Like, they're not going to be able to do anything. We are weaker. Our lifespans have been significantly shortened. Even if you look at Methuselah and Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, they're 1,000 years. Noah, 960 years. They are at least 1,000 years. And the people before Thoth were supposed to be 12,000 years. So, these people were around a lot longer. So I think that they took away our magic, so we don't have any abilities, they're all suppressed, made us dumber, like literally dumber. So we're not using our brains. They made us smaller, weaker, stupid. We didn't have all of these things. And so they suppressed various genes within us to make us into a slave race. But all of this stuff is there, but there's malware in it. So my classes remove the malware. It removes all of these. So my stuff doesn't teach you to do it. Like, it's not learning by repetition. Everything else we do, you play tennis, you have to practice makes perfect. Anything you do, you have to practice. Mine is not that. You are a god with malware. I remove malware, you get superpowers. So I awaken your superpowers. Enlightenment or enlightening, I don't call myself enlightened, I'm enlightening, is a losing game. You lose the parts of yourself which are not enlightened. They come away, and then you have abilities, and then you get superpowers. And I'm just removing all the malware, and I get more and more superpowers as I progress. And that's what I teach.
That's all, right? That's all. No,
Just that.
that's right. Okay, so you worked on me. How was that? Did you have fun? Did you have fun working on me?
It was great. I loved it.
What
I love work. It's really fun. I really like healing people because they get so excited about it, and it's so life-changing. And it's like, it's nourishing to your soul when you have outrageous results with people and they just change their lives. It's like, it's really good for you. It's just super nourishing to be able to do that sort of work.
So it was interesting. So basically, Antonia, you guys, she just drops in. She gets quiet and she just drops in. And
only because I can't talk and do it at the same time. If I could talk, I would talk. I just can't actually do it because I think it's going through my throat in some way.
Yeah, you do a little bit of like clearing and like this. And so you were doing this, and you were dropping in, and then I'm a very much of a visual girl. So what I saw her doing is she presented me this big book, and it was like it was like my book of life or my Akashic records or something like that. And it was this big, beautiful book with thick paper, and it was like leather bound, but it was magical. And it was, now that I'm okay. And then we opened it up, and then we just went page by page, and it was lovely because Antonia was going like the page by page, and then she was just like, oop. And like, if it was a good page, she was just like, and she'd smile. And then she'd open it up and like, there's another page. And then there was a trauma, there was something that happened. And then you just like with watercolors, you just like touch the page and it just went clear. And then you went to the next one and it just went clear. And then you're like, oh, no, that's a good one. Clear. And then you got through the book and you're like, done. And then I told you that and you're like, huh, okay. But then what was really cool is she got a shop vac out. She switches over to a shop vac, and she had a bedazzled hat on, like a little hard hat, and her little like gear that the people had, and she just was like shop vacking stuff. And it was just, those are I'm a picture girl, and that's what I saw. But it was really, really interesting that she just had the book and went boop, and the page just like became white. Boop, boop, and then the shop vac and cleaning everything up. So that's what I got to see, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And we did all trauma, didn't we? And all fear. So how have you been since then? How are the traumas feeling? What's going on with all of that? Your results?
I do notice at night I'm still getting a little bit of mind chatter, and I don't know if that's just nighttime. But I feel I've had situations that normally would just, because my bandwidth, like, I love what you said, your bandwidth is joy. I because I'm constantly doing things, some things historically would just kind of pop me. Yesterday, it was 91 in Minneapolis, and my daughter wanted to go to Dairy Queen after her softball game. And I waited in the car, and, I could have sat there with my air on, but I didn't. And normally that would have been like me going like, it's 8 minutes, it's 10 minutes, it's 12 minutes. I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. I literally just sat there and listened to the radio. I literally just watched the cars go by. I wasn't heightened. I sit in traffic now. And I'm just like, I'm in traffic. It's not those, it takes a lot more to get me rolled up. And I feel like I'm a lot more peaceful with it. Now, again, I'm juggling knives and doing all these things. So there is some chatter a little bit, but I'm not as excitable. I'm not as, oh my gosh, at all, like I used to be. It's amazing.
And the traumas that we worked on, how are the traumas that we worked on? Are they totally neutral now?
I get a little bit of something, but
I think there might have been something which was disassociated, which is dropped in. So we'll just clear that a little bit at the end, because if there's anything left, there shouldn't be. So that you might need a 2-minute top up, because sometimes disassociated bits come into your body after the fact, and then they just need a little bit of a boost. So we'll do that.
Little tweak. Perfect. Okay. Let's wrap things up. Okay, you guys, check Antonia out. How do people find you?
Divinely Empowered Podcast. I've got my YouTube as well. Whoop whoop, and Being Curious Podcast. So we're going to be on both of them. But Instagram, Antonia _ Harman. Antonia the Wizard finds me, but Divine Empowerment or Divinely Empowered, Antonia the Wizard, Antonia Harman. You can find me everywhere, and please do sign up for free level 1. Oh, let me talk more about that. You've got the big eraser, which everybody knows about. That's dissolving emotional traumas one at a time. You get 40 different energies. You've got grounding and centering, which just centers you and grounds you just to make you feel more connected. You've got 2 different energetic pharmaceuticals, pain reliefs. You've got 2 different pain relief techniques, which is a temporary fix like taking an aspirin or something. Then you've got Chakra Master Blaster. You've got Changing the Taste of Wine, which I particularly like because I like wine, but also it makes the metaphysical physical. So you get to experience it, and you can teach that to other people, and being able to say, okay, you change it to that, you change it to that, and then people can taste the wine taste totally different, is really visceral. You can notice the difference between things. There are other energetic pharmaceuticals in there as well. It's really, really fun. And you get to do all these beautiful things, and it's all free. And start doing it, and take it with a friend of yours, and you dissolve their traumas. They dissolve your traumas. The jewel in the crown is a big eraser. That's the most important energy. It goes all the way through the levels, and at some point you end up dematerializing benign tumors, and then doing really miraculous stuff, and it just works all the way through. It's super fun. We have a lovely, people get beyond level 1. We have a really nice community. It's really sweet. And everyone's there for the right reasons. Everyone's really cool. It's less of the wishy-washy healers and more of the badass people because I think I attract badass people because I'm not that wishy-washy. Because I'm very results. I'm not I don't know. I'm results driven. I want to get results, and they need to be consistent. They need to be right, because otherwise there's too much room for snake oil salespeople and just nonsense out there. And these are I think they are the best tools there are on the planet. I don't know anyone who's doing anything like this. I really, really don't. And I specialize in miracles, and you can too.
Oh my God, you totally do. Okay, you guys, latest issue in June, July, which is just about to hit the streets of Edge Magazine. There is an invitation to take level 1 for free. Check out Antonia. This is amazing. I'll actually have all the information in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you here, there, and everywhere, and just what a blessing. Okay, you guys, till next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Something new is unfolding at the Edge. The latest issue of Edge Magazine is here, filled with voices that awaken your heart, expand your mind, and remind you that you're part of something much bigger. Explore conscious living, holistic wellness, energy healing, spirituality, and the art of awakening, all in one inspiring space. Awaken, discover, connect, and be curious. Print editions are now on the streets, and you can also read it online at edgemagazine.net. Welcome to the Edge. We have been waiting for you. You are right where you are supposed to be. Welcome home.